to episode 98 of the Zeens and Roger podcast, Crochet podcast. Well, 98, that's nearly 100. I was hoping to time episode 100 with my birthday episode, because I started in February and it's February. I want to say 4 years, but I'm scared it might be 5 since the first time I did a podcast. I don't know, I can't remember. I was also going to finish at 100 and that was going to be it, but we shall see. I'm going to, every now and again, I'm drawn back into it. We shall see. Hopefully not. I can't. I'm just always drawn back into it. So anyway, how are you? Are you all right? I have made myself a cup of tea. It's on the floor, so please don't let me kick it over. I've just recorded the second episode of the How to Get Your Crochet Designs Published video. I have literally just hit stop on that, made a cup of tea and come back and hit record for episode 98. That means I don't know if it's any good or not. I have a sneaking suspicion it's just a random load of old cack. I wanted to cover points that weren't covered in the first video, because I forgot to mention a few things, and I just wanted to revisit, make points of those things I'd forgotten, and then answer the questions that were asked in the comment section of that video. I think I've covered everything. When I overlap, I'm going to try and chop out those bits. So we're looking at a 25-minute video for the second half. But let's talk about podcast stuff, not how to publish your crochet designs and patterns. But if you do want to do that, you can go and watch those videos, or at least the first one, because I don't know if the second one will be out by the time I release this, or if I'll do them. I don't know what way I'll do them. There's somebody coming down the stairs. I think it's my son. It's Tuesday, the something of February, and he is off school because he's got COVID. None of the rest of us have got it yet. He's okay, he's fine. He's had one jab, because he's 12, so he's had the first jab. He was booked in to get the second jab on Sunday, but it was the Saturday that he tested positive. But I'm just waiting now for me to get it, everybody else to get it. I'm thrice vaccinated, so fingers crossed. Oh well, I've just done my nails, so I don't want to cross my fingers in case I smudge my nails, but fingers crossed we'll be okay. I'm mostly worried about the youngest, who has asthma and has not had any vaccinations at all because he's only 8. And they haven't offered it to 8-year-olds, so we shall see. Where was I? Right, okay, so welcome to episode 98. I've got loads, and my brain is busting with ideas and things to do and jobs and all sorts of things. It's going crazy up there. Mostly garments coming out my ears, except for they're not, because I'm so stunted with fear at the thought of designing garments, even though I've done 2 proper graded garments that are out, including this one. It doesn't matter what you do, the next one will always have a new challenge, and then I'm doing a garment grading course that Nomad Stitches is put together. It's a 6-hour course, and I thought I would give it a go because there was elements of construction in it too, which is where I am most sort of as what I'm most unsure of. What frightens me most is grading construction, especially if there are stitch patterns involved. It's mind-boggling and fills me with dread. So I'm doing this course and it is so invaluable and I'm learning so much. I'm building on my skills that I'm learning. It's fabulous. Considering that this time last year I knew bog all about grading. Then I did Heather's workbook and I got to learn the appropriate Excel sums that I needed, and I got to learn about how to work out yardage and stuff. So when I went on this course and we were doing some of the same stuff, it's true, but also building on that and moving on to construction and different shaping of different garments. So whether or not it's raglan, top up, top down, yoke construction, all of it has been covered in the first 4 hours. There's 2 hours left to go, which is at the weekend. But it's garments, 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 and blow me, is it not just giving me more ideas? It's never going to stop, is it? But one of the pieces of homework we've got is to do a swatch and start our own spreadsheet with all the sums for grading it. I'm okay with, and I have started it and I feel confident. I've got some understanding that I didn't have before, and so, oh my God, that's awesome, right? But one of the jobs is to swatch, and I've swatched, and I've swatched, and that's upside down. So I've basically swatched the same stitch pattern. This is 3, I've done 4, and I'm working on my 5th because each time I do it I change it, whether or not it's hook size or yarn fibre or just little tweaks to the stitch pattern, because actually the stitch pattern as well, I've not gone a looking for it, but I could call it my own. I have created this stitch pattern myself from scratch-a-rooney. It may well exist somewhere out in the world already, but I've not seen it before, and it's one I've been working on. So the homework is to do that. But that stitch pattern I got a little bit, I want to do is a raglan, and I'm a bit frightened of it. So I thought, you know what, I'll do an easy route, and I will I'll just grade like a granny vest. So on Instagram recently I think I had a couple of posts. One was sharing some 25-gram DK minis that I got for Christmas from Amanda, and I was wondering what to do with them, and I was thinking about doing a vest, like a tank top. And then the other one was, I shared a picture of my Hotchpotch Granny that I made years ago, and I said, oh, shall I make another Hotchpotch Granny? And everyone was like, yeah, totally, sure. And I thought, well, why not smush the two together and do a Hotchpotch Granny vest? And also, it felt to me as though it was a really good one for my homework for this Nomad Stitches course. As you can see, I'm only here. I need to grade this and the straps. And I've got my spreadsheet and I've sorted it, but actually it's still complicated. It's still really tricky. And so actually maybe I should have just gone for a drop sleeve boxy thing and be done with it and just chicken out. But well, I've started now, so I've got to finish. At the moment it's just a boob tube. I don't know why that made me giggle like a witch. Can't cackle. Do. It's only my bosoms that hold it up. If I was flat-chested, it would just slide right down. Hotchpotch Granny vest, anyone? Just imagine, I don't know, I'll do a V-neck or a round neck, whatever is easiest in terms of grading. I also am slightly dubious about whether or not, I mean, I've basically used 80% of it is done with a magic knot, where you create a ball of yarn and each end is just knotted together, and then you snip the ends. I've been assured that it's very reliable, and I have used it in bags, but I've never used it in a garment. So at the moment, and look, I've got all of this, so I could effectively, I reckon I could, what with all the other bits and bobs of yarn I've got about the place, I could probably make another one. So I could make my first sample and then make another one. And yeah, I would like to release it, I would. But you know me, it won't be for 3 years. And what with all the other ideas that I've got on the boil and they're just simmering. Can you boil and simmer at the same time? I'm not sure. So, but the thing is, I could easily just jump straight in and work out my own shaping. I've got it in my head how the strap should be, but it needs to be gradable. I can't just do it for my size and then sod everybody else. I need to ensure that it's a pattern that will work for all. And so I'm not allowed to jump the gun. I'm not allowed to just work straps that would just take an evening to do, because I have to make sure my grading is correct and it works across all sizes before I get to the next stage. So it's spreadsheets and maths before I'm allowed to do the fun crochet. I'm just putting my jumper on because I'm cold, but you will have seen, I've shown this before, so it's just, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm fairly sure last episode, it's called the Riley jumper. It's on the front cover of Inside Crochet magazine. Which brings me on to, I'm gonna Kim Kardashian myself. Hang on a mo. What do you think? I should not have put my jumper on because now you can't see what the hell's going on. With the leftovers of the Riley jumper, there was quite a bit of some of the shades, and it just seems really horrible to make yourself a jumper and then have like loads left over and you're just like, what am I going to do with this? Make yourself a pair of mittens, of course. I made some for my sister for Christmas, and then I have tweaked and perfected the design so that we have some mittens. These are called the Hepworth mittens. If this is the Riley jumper after stripey artist Bridget Riley, then these are the Hepworth mittens, named after Barbara Hepworth, who is a sculptor who did sculptures. I've got fluff in my mouth. And some Angry Birds out there. And mittens are more shapely and kind of undulating and curvy. That's my tenuous link to Hepworth, Barbara Hepworth. I've written up a pattern for them as well. They're just going to be in 2 sizes, but also they are not supposed to be well fitted. They're chunky and loose. So you could have a shorter version as wrist warmers. You could even do like mega short, but that makes me feel uncomfortable. I like them being proper covering, a lot of coverage, thanks. So there's a wrist warmer version as well, which is shorter. If I, let me put on, and as you can see, I do different colours for different ones. They're not matchy. Oh, how do I do this? There you go. So that's the difference in length between the two, between the options, and you could do either or. And then mitten or no mitteny bit. What do you reckon? If I stood behind Bridget Riley, if I stood in front of a Bridget Riley picture, you wouldn't see me, would you? No. Right, so I've not released these yet. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to, because the stitch pattern is the same as this, and this at the moment for the next few months belongs to Inside Crochet Magazine, so I don't know if I should be doing the nice thing and asking them if it's okay, or if of course it's okay because they're completely different. It's mittens, not a jumper. Don't know. Anywho, I'm in no rush to release them because I want to be able to check first. I want to do the right thing, so I will ask them. And hopefully it's okay. If it's not, then I won't be allowed to. But I'm really pleased with them. And the ones I made for my sister were actually a larger size, but she was okay with that because she does have bigger hands and slightly wider wrists than me. Whereas for my hands, these are a small medium, and then I'm doing a medium large. But they are kind of supposed to have a loose, they're fast and loose. More on that another time, but I mean, if I leave it too long, it won't be winter anymore. Not here. We'll be somewhere else though. Anyway, before I release Hepworth, if I'm allowed, I have another pattern to release. I'm just gonna, even though I've only just put this jumper on because I got cold, I need to do some more modelling, so I'll take it off because otherwise you won't be able to see properly. So I've designed a cowl that I really like. I really like it. So this is called Isca, which is the Roman name for Exeter. And I've called it Isca because I used to live in Exeter. It's not far away from me. And the yarn is along avec Anna, who has a shop in Exeter. And that's where I bought the yarn from, where I ordered it and then got it posted. I still haven't been. It's a brand new wool shop, yarn shop, where Anna sells a little bit of merino, a little bit of mohair, and her knitting patterns and her book. What do you think? Do you like it? I loved it, I do. Sort of got a ribbon bobble stitch going on, and it uses 2 balls of merino and 2 balls of the mohair, and you hold them double to create a floofy fabric. But there's enough left over to make a headband or ear warmer. But my goodness, it's so close that I think you run out before you get the chance to make the bobbly bit of the ear warmer. I did a tie, so you can tie it as tight as you want around your head. Those ear warmers and headbands that don't have that, I always think they could be really loose and then just fall off. And then also I didn't want like a big thick band under my head. But I have to say that I've got no idea how to wear a head warmer because I've never had one before. I've never had one. I've never been a fan. What do you think? They have their benefits though, don't they? Because sometimes when it's cold and it's windy, you wear a hat and within 5 minutes your head is really hot. But when the wind blows, your ears hurt. So if you could have something where you didn't need to wear a full hat, but your ears are protected, well, genius. And thus you have a headband. I've done the bobbles on here like this, just to mirror, to echo the motif within the cowl. And you could always forego the last round at top and the bottom of the edge and thus buy yourself some yarn in which to do the bobble. But I haven't done it, and I daren't, well, I can't, I'm not going to go out and buy more posh expensive wool because it just feels a little bit much. But if you wanted to, that you could always make the ear warmer first, then do the main body of the cowl, and then see how far you got with the edging. Because my initial plan was just to do no edging and have a crab stitch around the outer, but it looked a bit too plain, and so I added on a camel stitch edge instead. And then this is I've got a dodgy join. Don't look at the join. It's dodgy. It feels beautiful as well. Don't know if you can see. Don't look at my nails either because I've only just done them. They need tidying. And then so that's the Iska set. And because I've used quite posh yarn on it, but I feel it's justified because one, it's beautiful, and two, I'm supporting somebody who is basically a sole business person, an indie designer. So I feel like it's a good thing. And then I also did this version. I was going to sort of like do some research into what I thought would be a good, almost identical alternative to the mohair and the merino. But I am on a yarn ban and I did not want to buy any more. I do not want to buy any more yarn for a while because I've got so much. I really want to make a massive dent in the stash. So instead I did a couple of sort of workings out, and I found this, which is King Cole Riot in DK, and it's got a colour change to it. It's a mix of wool and acrylic. I don't know if I've got any. If I did I have it in here? Yeah. So I don't know if you can see. It's kind of like a single ply as well, rather than it's sold as DK, but it's like a, you know, it's got no actual ply. And I had it in stash because I think they sent it to me a year or 3 years ago, whenever it was I was an ambassador. Didn't get any Ferrero Rocher with it. Such a dad joke. It was a quite close match, so I thought it would be a good one to recommend. I've not made the cowl in it, so I don't know, but it's comparatively bargainous, and yeah, so with Iska you could have a couple of different kinds of yarn. I don't know if if you just did like Starcraft Special, I don't think it would be very special. It wouldn't look quite. So this has got, even though this is like 70% acrylic or whatever, it's got a kind of nice sheeny luster to it, and I don't mind the colour changes either. I think they're subtle and so quite nice. I I quite like that combo. I've got a couple more things to talk about, but I'm just going to go and get my baby from school. The other one, he's come downstairs sniffing because he doesn't like it when I leave it to the last minute to go and pick up his little bro. Okay, so I literally cannot remember, even though it was just a few moments ago, if I showed you my swatches, or was it the other video that I did about publishing your designs? Can't remember. So, but basically I've been doing some swatching because I want to create a cardigan. I'm fairly sure it was you I've been talking to. Walk up the road to school, go and get Litlin, come back, and my mind has been erased. I can remember pretending to be Kim Kardashian in her all-in-one carpet outfit. I talked about my granny vest. I think I did. I must have talked about those things because I was talking about the fact that it was too scary, wasn't I? I did that pattern was too scary to raglanise essentially, and I'm biding my time. I am already probably a year behind where I want to be in terms of the garment ideas I've got, but I'm slowly but surely trying to kind of not hide behind ungradable patterns. And there's nothing wrong with a shawl or a bag or all the other things that I love crocheting, but I've got loads of ideas for various kind of tops and things, and so I would like to adjust my focus somewhat, and rather than constantly be thinking that oh, I could just squeeze this in because it's a quick one, I'm always just squeezing in the quick projects, and thus the genuine learning opportunities are pushed back and back. And so 2022 is the year of no, focus. So I've been swatching with some yarn that arrived, and it is blue and fluffy. And you know I've been on my fluffy mission of late. Hence things like this and wheat fields and maybe another, I can't remember. This is quite fluffy too actually. Whereas this is actually called Fluffy Day. It is by Hobby. And they have sent me this for yarn support because they emailed me ages ago and said that we've got a couple of campaigns, would you like to join in? And I was a bit preoccupied. I know that I think I was doing this, must have been October last year, because I think I was doing this, and I knew that I also wanted to do a couple of other things, and so I said no, but you know, it's not a no forever. And then a couple of weeks ago I got an email from them again going, oh, we know you couldn't join in with this campaign, but would you still be interested in having some yarn? And so I've asked for Fluffy because I think it would be really good for a garment, for a cardigan I want to do, which has got puff stitches. I want it to have a V-neck. I did want it to be a raglan, but I think probably I want to do a plainish raglan first. No, not first. I think I want to do a plainish raglan when I first do a raglan, but for this, which will come first, will be more drop sleeve, which isn't a cop-out because I will be doing it slightly differently to my other drop. This is drop sleeve. It drops off the shoulder and it's quite boxy, whereas raglan is the line of a jumper that goes from neck to armpit essentially. and it's more tricky. And I want to be able to, you know, what's wrong with you? Oh, what did I say the other day? Run before I can walk. I'm trying to run before I can walk. Stop it. I think I need to be more methodical in my approach. So this is probably going to be a drop sleeve cardigan, but I will still do some jiggery pokery to make it not boring. I said ball, and that's boring and dull mixed together. So this will be anything but, because this is a really beautiful, beautiful electric blue for one thing, which is my favourite sort of blue. And it's fluffy, which is my yarn of the moment. This one, however, is 100% acrylic. So a couple of the swatches I made I killed because I steam blocked them, thinking that I was being gentle. I wasn't, and I have killed my swatches. So it's a good job I did not steam block my final cardigan, because I think probably what I'm going to do is make another swatch and wash it and then tumble dry it and see if I can call that blocking and see what it does. And so that at no point does it ever get pinned out and set, but hopefully the washing and the drying, not high temp but low temp, I want to see what that does to the swatch that I make up next. I've never swatched anything so much in all my life, but it's worth doing the work first. So anyway, I will let you know how I get on with this, but it has jumped to the top of the list in terms of important things I want to do. And I have shown you jumpers and things before that I'm at certain stages with, and then I get frightened, and I think again I've tried to kind of jump too far ahead of myself. So I'm gonna take it easy and climb each rung of the ladder rather than skipping steps, because actually, yeah, how run before you can walk, bit off more than you can chew, jump the gun. All of those apply. What can you think of any other phrases, expressions that mean exactly the same thing? So I have eight 100 gram balls of this fluffy from Hobby. It's very nice that they have remembered me enough to ask me again, do I want some free stuff? So I can be an influencer. Yeah. It just says fluffy day, 100% premium brushed acrylic. So brushed as in they've kind of like agitated it and to get it all fluffy. 100% acrylic. Now I think online they've got 2 weights of the fluffy day, and this is the one that's not chunky. I think it was called an Aran on the website, but you only need a 4mm hook, and it's not as plump as the standard Aran or worsted type weight. It's on the little label, it says 4 medium, but I don't know what that equates to off the top of my head. I always have to look up that because that's not a UK thing. We're starting to use numbers more often, but it's not something that we have used as far as I'm aware in the UK, so much so that a load of UK yarns don't have it on the ball band. So okie pokey, couple things left, if that's all right. This book arrived in the post just a few days ago. It is called Quick Crochet. It is no fuss patterns for colourful scarves, blankets, bags and more. And it's by Kate Rowell, who is Jelly Bean Junction, and she has written her own book. And I believe it is published in the US, but is available in the UK now too. It's a brand new publication. I can see something on the end of my nose, sorry. And yes, it has exactly those things in it. Colourful scarves, blankets and bags things. And cushions. There's lots of colour work in here. And they're easy kind of, I think the premise is that they are done within a couple of hours or a few hours. Just real quick fix crochet. Lots of chunky things and yarns held together. But I am making a bag. And the other thing I would quite like to make a pot holder, you know. I've made one once before, but that one looks like it would work up in minutes. And my only problem is that I don't have anywhere to hang a plant in this house. There's no sticky outy things that I can hang a plant from. So if I made it, where would I put it? Even though I would love to have, I remember in the 80s that houses, you'd go around to somebody's house and they would have the raffia ones, much the same, probably macrame ones, hanging about the place when they were first in fashion. I'm beginning to feel very old in that things like that are happening. I'm noticing more fashions come around, and now we're kind of having a 90s revival. It's really bizarre because I was a teenager in the 90s and it just doesn't feel like that long ago. What was the other thing? Somebody's there. I've lost my train of thought. I'm working with people now who are much younger than me and I feel old. You know, when you make jokes and they're naff and nobody laughs and you think about what you said and you realise it's basically your references are age related. I want to make this, but I want to make a lot of things, so there's a wall hanging in here too, and there's coasters and placemats, a couple of wall hangings. There's a purse in here that I'm attracted to. With its, what is it called? Lines. And then I'm going to show you what I'm making. It's really good if you want either quick crochet projects or you're a beginner and need something that's relatively straightforward. No fuss, but all the fun. It's a nice catchy snippet there. Take a jingle. Shut up, I'm being so beanie, what's wrong with me? I'm making this one. Or at least a play on it, because I don't know if I've got, well, I haven't got enough yarn probably. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kind of colour changes, I think. But what I have is, and you're supposed to use some hooked wavy blends worsted. I wonder if that's colour changing yarn. So this book, remember? But for Christmas, I got, oh, I've got a label. Do you know, is it Sugar and Cream? Is that what it's called? Hang on, sorry. Store bag. I got this for Christmas. Yeah, it is Sugar and Cream, which is, there's 2.5 ounces, which is 70.9 grams, which looks like this. I've taken the label off. Oh, I don't know where that voice came from. I've taken the label off and it's kind of collapsed. But what I'm going to do, because I've got 3 colours, so I'm going to use 35 grams of the green and the blue to work in the single crochet. So I've got about 10 grams left of each. I weighed it, so I know. And then when I get to that change, I will drop one of these and pick up this one to use, let's say, these two together for the next section. Again, until that one runs out. So, and then using 35 grams of that before then changing over to the new combo to finish it off. So I should have 3 different sections of colour, and I believe that the stitch changes at certain points in the pattern as well. It's not going to be identical because I am not willing to go out and buy more yarn because I'm doing a major stash bust. I do not want to buy more yarn and have it left over. I'd rather try and use every last scrap. And then I reckon it will end up being more square than a rectangular tote, but that's fine. And then I probably have bag handles somewhere about the place. And I will pop those on and have myself a bag. So that's the pattern I'm going to make, and I'm taking part in a book tour which will be hosted on Instagram. So you'll see lots of crocheters making projects from this over the next few weeks. So I think my date is mid-Feb for my day of the book tour, and hopefully by then I'll have the finished bag. And then I've got one more thing to talk about. I do have another design out. I've got 2 designs I've not mentioned. One is a C2c Cowl. That's a chunky yarn that did feature in Molly Makes magazine a couple of years ago, and so I've popped it on the blog for free. So that's in my free patterns page on the blog. It's just a chunky C2c Cowl, nothing kind of fancy, quite plain, but it's got colour changing yarn, so it's still quite nice looking and interesting to work up, quick to work up because it's chunky. And then another pattern release, which is called Rainbow Interrupted, which is a Crescent Shawl, which has eyelets in it. And I'm sorry, it has been folded up. I haven't worn it, and I should apologise to Ali, because Ali from Homemade at My Place, well, that's what her old Insta was called. I don't know if she's changed it back yet. But handmade. This is by Ali. Because she very kindly did the pattern test for it. So it's called Rainbow Interrupted because all the rainbowy lines they stop short. They've been interrupted. So lots of eyelets as well, which also I decided not to carry forth across the row. And this is a crescent shaped shawl. And this one is the sample. Oh God, one of the boys' mates has given them a call. I'm just going to ignore it. What do you think? This is made with Metropolis, which is a Scheepjes yarn. Scheepjes or Scheepjes, I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. It's in the yarn after the yarn party range. You can find it on Ravelry and on their website as well. But the weird thing is that their Instagram, I keep saying there because I don't want to say Scheepjes. I don't want to say it because I know it. I'm making it more awkward than it needs to be, right? So it's on their website and on Ravelry. You can get the pattern. You can find it under my name on Ravelry or theirs, and it will come up. But yeah, the sample I made used a grey as the main colour, and then there's this one which is like an off-white colour, which I prefer this one to the grey. They've not sent me the grey sample back, but they sent Ali back her sample. So I don't know what they have planned. I don't know what they plan to do with the grey one. But I really like this one. So I'm really pleased to have it because I just think it's really nice. And I was really very lucky that Ali didn't want to keep it, because she could have done. But I guess if it's anything like any other crochet designer, you have got so many samples in your collection that really, to have another one, it kind of, you know, you don't need it. So I'm really grateful that she offered to send it to me. Look at those tassels, aren't they jolly? Woohoo! So I really like that one. I must have made, I think I said, I was talking to Amanda the other day, who's Queen Ambrosia on Instagram. But I think I said something like, oh yeah, I made it ages ago, and I think I might have lied and said I made it 2.5 years ago. And then when I checked, it wasn't that long ago. It just feels that way. It was, in fact, maybe 18 months ago that I made it. So still a long time, but not 2.5 years. Bit of an exaggeration there. That'll always belong to the yarn company, not to me. I've sold the rights to that one, so it's no longer mine. But I made it, and it's my design, and I know it, and I'll make sure you know it too. Right, Puskins? How are you? You waiting for your din-dins? You've got at least an hour to wait, I'm afraid. No. And that is it. That's where I'm at. I'm going to try and release Iska before this video comes out, so that if you want to grab a copy, you can. And shall I add a cheeky discount on it as well? Let's say, what do I do nowadays? 25%. I'm just going to write myself a note. I'm going to do a code for it, so it's not automatic. You have to put the code in, and I'll do it for Etsy and Rav as normal. 25% off. Let's do a code. What should we say? I'll put it on the screen as well. Iska 25. That'll do. And I will do it for my normal 2 weeks. So if you're watching this at the beginning, you've got yourself 2 weeks. If you've left it 3 weeks to watch episode 98, well, I'm terribly sorry, but you've missed out on the discount. That's why it pays to watch when the video is published. So don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's a bell icon, click it, and then hopefully it'll ping when I publish a video. But to be honest with you, I've no idea with YouTube these days. None at all. I will publish a video when I want to, and I'm feeling it, not because I have an obligation to do so or feel pressured into doing so. I am sick to the back teeth of algorithms and being made to do things I don't want to do. Hello, Reels. Not talking to you. I think that's it. So I'm going to be working on garment grading. So if I go quiet for a long period of time, it's probably because of that reason. I've done the second video of the published patterns vlog. And so my next one will be the book one, I hope, which I've probably mentioned too many times and you're still waiting. But that's the one I want to do next anyway. So at some point in 2022, that will be a thing. And in the meantime, I will love you and I will leave you. And now I think I need some medicine. I've got a headache and it won't go away. And I really thought that if I went out for a walk, which I did do, it would go away. And I thought if I had to sit down, which I did do, it would go away. And I thought lots of things, but it still hasn't gone away. So I'm gonna get myself some headache tablets. Maybe I'll get an early night.